Welcome back to another Alliance War video for Loki versus GT40. These are the world champions. They have won, I think, for the past like 7 or 8 seasons, except for one. But it's a big war. Every war is big, but it's always good to kind of see who you when you go up against the best. And they banned APOC, Ghost, and Falcon. And I am bringing Professor X, White Magneto, and Omega Sentinel, and I'm on path 8, the first node, versus this Nova. And I really wasn't too worried. I checked out the nodes, and he's going to gain some buffs, but White Magneto does a really good job of shutting down Nova. Now, I wanted to get this first parry, and he dashes back, and it kind of threw me off, especially as I missed this heavy counter. And I was like, I saw him gaining those Furies, and I was like, oh man, I need to get a prowess up. And there I remove his Fury. So I'm like, okay, perfect. I get a parry, and now I'm going to be winning the battle of the buffs, basically. So here I want to bait the special one, and just kind of build up to my SB2. I am mutant boosted because I'll be taking some X fights after this. And here I don't know what happened. I broke my block, and I just, just took that to the face, but it's okay. I'm about to throw my special 2, and this fight is over with 101k crit. So next up we have a bishop on node 25. I will be taking this with Omega Sentinel. My indestructible boost is still running, I'm sure, so that's not a big deal. I have max collar tech and max petrify up, just so when I parry him and hit him, he just doesn't build as much power. It's not really needed at all, but because I'm just going to push him to an SB2 by holding block after a 4-hit combo and never use a medium hit, and he'll never gain a prowess, and just bait out his SB2 and just block it. One thing to note that I did take that Nova fight with White Magneto without using a pre-fight, because with the synergy, the SIG ability, Nova being metal, and then just the win, I maxed out my persistent charges at 10. So now I have 5 that I can use or give. So I didn't use one here because I wanted to take advantage of max petrify. So I'm not using it here, and this is just kind of a non-special chip away type of fight. He did throw his SB1 right here, which was unfortunate, but this has happened in the past a little bit. I just kind of dance. I have a lot of health at this point, so I'm not even worried about it, even if I do get 1 or 2. But here, AI plays well, and he stays away from me, so back to 4-hit combo. And I stop right before the he reaches 1 bar of power, just so I can get another parry and then kind of, push him to with a 4-hit combo. And the fight's going well, and it's about to be over right here. Now I'm moving over to path 4. I have a Spider Ham, and I have about 5 fights left. I am going to be using the pre-fight on Sassy and the boss, and I used one here. I didn't use one on the next fight because I wanted to take advantage of the petrify, but here we have Spider Ham, and I was afraid that I was going to get a disconnect. You can see it's just loading and loading, and I was like, man, this is not the war to get a disconnect death, because GT40 dies very, very few times. They are very good, a very good alliance. So here, I like the long stun because it allows me to ramp rather quickly. I have an indestructible boost on, just because I don't want to, in case I get hit with something. Although I fought spam many times in war and in content with X, and it's just, he just doesn't have to worry about the evade. So here, the only thing that I am actually aware of is that I want to make sure that I have a detox charge at all time. Basically, because there I got a dex. I'm like, all right, perfect, because he's going to throw his specials and they apply debuffs, and with the node and armor break there, he resisted my my heavy, but it's fine because I have my falter that would have protected me. Now if he would have had a special, then that would have royally sucked. So at this point, I'm already at 100 charges. What I'm going to do next time, actually, because of that resist, is I'm going to actually just do combos, because I don't want to get resisted. So once I ramp up, I'm just now that I'm watching this, but there I got a taunt up off his SB1, then I shrugged it with the Detox Global Attacker, and this fight is essentially over. It's my first X fight, so I don't have any persistent charges, but with Omega Sentinel, I am going to gain an extra one with this. So I'll move from 2 to 3, which is very important as I'm going to fight the Sassy next. So this fight is over after those last special 3. And next up I have this Sauron, and I can dex this Sauron just fine. So that's the only danger. He doesn't actually apply any debuffs, you know, unless you get hit, really. So I just have to watch his unblockable, and I have 1 debuff on me, and then a armor break if I don't hit him in time. But that's not going to be too bad. So I guess the idea is that if I have to dance around his unblockable phase, that I will get too many armor breaks. I don't know if they stack actually, but here I'm like, okay. I saw that he was regenning, so I wanted to move to heal block mode right there. And I should have thought about that before, because I could have said that pre-fight. And here he throws his SB1. I dex it, and I'm like, all right, perfect. And I'm just trying to basically just chip him down. I'm going to throw my SB2. I'm really not worried about much here, and it's going smooth. He is going to go with 7 prowess at this point, and so I want to bait this SB1. And the incinerates are doing massive damage, so I'm like, okay, perfect. And I forget that he's unblockable right there, so I take that. The indestructible saves me, and I'm like, okay, perfect. But the incinerate damage just, you know, I didn't even have to pause it, and he was just dead. Not a very large health pool. So now I have a Sassy on the 456 mini. I placed a white Magneto pre-fight, and this I've taken plenty of times. So the plan here basically is to power start 1 boost, so I get to my cycle sooner. I'm going to just parry, ideally without dexing, so I don't have to worry about MD. And then if I can just push him to an SB2 with my ramp up, my mind control ramp up, bait the SB2, he's at no power, go for the intercept, and then heavy charge into my cycle. So the Wags helps out a ton because of mighty charge here, and because I can basically hold heavy just a tad bit longer. You see that I'm already at 60 charges after that 3rd heavy. My Sig is also helping me, and I'm like, okay, perfect. I'm almost ramped up, and he's almost at a special 2. And I'm like, all right, this is exactly what I wanted. He throws this. I'm going to use my Falter as a protection, use Backdraft Intercept. He goes for it. Parry into my special 3. And that's all she wrote. Now, it looks kind of weird because he's obviously like at full health when I start my damage rotation. But you can see that it does pretty good damage right here. I'm not running max recoil or anything. That did about 100k damage right there, but it's enough with the mutant power back boost and Professor X's ability to keep power to basically spam the special 3. Now, I can kill the Sassy without the mutant power back boost actually. I will have enough power and enough damage and prowess to basically you know, cycle through my whole mind control, but it's just, this is just much safer. So that's that Sassy. Next up we have a Misty on 55, and Misty gains these, you know, cryo charges, and I forgot what the other charges are called, but basically if you parry too much, she builds certain charges, and then she can go unblockable with her special 1. If you don't parry her, she builds these other charges that'll make her evade. So I threw a white Magneto pre-fight. I used one of them for Terrax. They didn't on the PDP. It doesn't help really, but more damage and whatnot. And here I'm not going to parry. My plan is to heavy counter her to ramp and just push her to a bar and then just bait it and block it. It's just the safest way to basically fight her, because none of her specials are going to be unblockable. You don't have to worry about anything crazy happening. She's not going to evade me because X stops evades with the vigilance. So the only real damage here is getting cornered and letting brute force kind of take you out. So here I'm at 83 charges, and I'm like, okay, just kind of beat her block for spacing. And there I just hit her just for brute force. There I was trying to beat her block, but she kind of came at me, so I was like, okay. So here, take this on the block, and then before brute force happens, I'm like, okay, heavy charge. It looks like I need one more heavy charge, but I want to bait this special, and she throws it. Perfect. And I dashed back twice there because when I was dueling, I got clipped off of one of her special ones. So there I heavy charge into my my special, and she's dead. I'm fully ramped at this point, and she's just gonna go down. So there's nothing else left to worry about in this fight. Now, I did switch my masteries after this. I took points off of the great stun duration and petrify, and a few off of limber for the null boss. One thing we do notice is that GT40 definitely runs some masteries to where they're maxing out energy resistance or physical resistance, stuff of that nature. So I just wanted to make sure that I was going to maximize my12 So I ran max recoil. I didn't run any bleed or poison, not necessary. Here I'm gonna run a power start 1 boost and a 212% with X, and then everything else, you know, rainbow boost as well. So here I'm just gonna try to Dex a few times so he comes at me, but I don't want to get cornered. So I want to make sure, there you go, push him back as he's unblockable, and then here I can safely kind of build my power, but don't push him over a bar. Now here I noticed that, okay, perfect, I'm building some power, he's no longer unblockable. I can use my first falter to ramp up the fight, and now perfect, I'm a hold block to gain detox charges after a 4-hit combo. I don't want to throw special 1. It doesn't really matter if he does, it's just that I have to deal with the unblockable and unstoppable for a short period. And I'm going to block the rest of this. I can dex it, but I'm not trying to get clipped off of something dumb. So here at this point, I'm using my heavy charge, and I almost ramped to 100, and I'm like, okay. So I'm almost at a full bar, and I'm like, okay, but I just need to, I don't know what happened there. I got clipped when I lost my detox charges, but then I gained them back there. And so I'm like, okay, I can heavy charge, and my cycle starts at this point. So at this point, the fight is in control, and I'm just looking to see how much damage happens, because with X, he does spam SP3s, but every now and again, I'm not sure what happens there. It kicks me out of the SP3 cycle, even if I do the same or more damage. So you can see that this Null is actually, you know, taking quite a bit to tick down, and you know, I'm doing about 115k damage here, which is dramatically less. I've done this fight without max recoil, and I've done more damage, but I did have horsemen in those fights, so maybe that's what it is. But like I said, they run some nasty masteries, I'm sure. You know, they're war champs for a reason, so that's that. However, I was telling myself that if he does, if this does not kill him, if it kicks me out, keep my SP2 and re-ramp. There's nothing in this fight that means I can't re-ramp to at least 50 charges, initiate mind control again. I'll have massive prowess, and the SP2 will kick me back into another cycle. So that was my plan as this was going on, but you see that it actually just killed him. So that was the war. I was good to go up against the best. It was very exciting to plan against, and my BG executed very, very well. We ended up getting a donut this war. Wasn't my cleanest Null fight, but a solo is a solo, right? I'm not going to complain about that. Also my item usage was nice this war, so that was pretty sweet, especially since I'm taking quite a few fights this season. It was kind of a breath of fresh air. And here we can look at the you know, we went 50-0. They died once to our BG, so they almost got to full donut as well. You know, they are beasts, and the final stats are here. We lost 2-7. Shout out to Trevor, Andrew, and Super Sam. Andrew actually got a streak of 100 on this war, so we will see you in the next one.